pleasure to have the first talk for today. Kind of an intro talk, I would say. So I'm talking about NumerAPI.
Then I can get a little bit closer.
Okay, hey, now it's better.
There we go.
So it's the official Python client for the competition. For those that are participating, you probably know that one. For those that don't, maybe that's a good starter how to get started in the competition. And well, I'm the official maintainer of the library and developer. Okay, so first of all, who am I? So my name is Wolfgang. I'm living in Germany, in Frankfurt, not that far from here actually. I have a PhD doing genetic algorithms actually. Never used those for the competition. Maybe I should at some point. Maybe that gives me some PC, let's see. In my real job, I was doing basically data science in the travel industry, so optimizing the airline schedules, counting passengers, and the like. The last 5-6 years, I'm working in programmatic advertising, also for the travel industry. Actually, nice job for data scientists. So as you may know, when you go to a website and there is an ad, usually there is a real-time auction behind where it's decided how much is paid for that one, which app is shown, and so on. And I'm basically leading the team in our company, or managing the team that is building all those algorithms that predicts the prices and creates what we want to ship. And it's fun because you have lots of data, it needs to be fast and real time, and lots of machine learning, but also lots of engineering because it needs to be fast and run. I don't work on Fridays, so that's my time for Numerai, or to work on the competition or to work on the library, and do lots of other things. And one of the things I do is I'm the maintainer of this library. So what is it? It's basically a light Python wrapper around Numerai's own API. So their website is powered by something called GraphQL, which is a pain to work with. I agree. and the idea of the library is that you don't need to know about that, don't need to know about how those web services work and the like. You just import the package and you can use that, and it should help you to get the data, train a model, and then do your stuff and upload the predictions afterwards. Such that you can focus on building models and doing that instead of learning about this technology. And my idea is to keep it robust and also simple. So the feature set maybe is a bit limited, but I don't want to add stuff because I don't want to support on the weekends or what during the week. So the idea is it should just work and it's and you can see there's some documentation online, it's on GitHub, and I checked yesterday, so it has like 500,000 downloads already. I don't know how they count these numbers, to be honest. So they are from PyPy, so where you install the packages from. Something many people don't know, it's actually a community project. So it's a bit sponsored by the company, but it's open source. I put it on GitHub when I created it. We have more than 30 contributors, some from the company itself, but also many participants that are creating issues or creating PRs. It was created in 2017. That was also the time when I joined the competition. Back then, there was already a small script that allowed to interact with the website, but that was kind of broken at that point. And I thought, okay, it's a weekly competition. I definitely want to automate this and don't do it manually. And so I took over the development, basically rewrote the thing, and then at that point, Numerai also switched to GraphQL, so I implemented all that. And since then, I'm basically maintaining that library. And since some time now, they actually call it the official client, and I know they use it internally in the company as well, and it's in all the beginner scripts on the website. But yeah, it's community used. And yeah, to get started, you basically do pip install NumerAPI, and then it works, kind of. In the talk, I'm now going to walk a bit through the basic functionality. Maybe that's more for the newcomers to see how you get started in the conversation. But also I want to touch on maybe some more advanced things or tips and tricks for those that already use the library but didn't know what to do with it. And then please, if you have questions, I mean, it's a small group, just jump in. Okay, so the first thing you want to do if you want to start in the competition, you need some data to work with. You import the library, you create an object, NumerAPI object, and then you can list all the data sets that are available. So you can see, okay, there are different formats and different things. And as the next step, you actually download the data set by the name. And the interesting thing is that there are some things going on in the background that you might not see. One is that, you see the nice progress bar and the download speed and so on, but also there's some functionality if your connection drops or whatnot, you can resume the download. So if you start it again, it will start where it dropped off. Also, if the file already exists on your computer, you'll skip the download. Then, just for the example, we are building a small model. Let's say we download the data, we load it in Canvas data frame, and then we build a tiny little model. That's basically the part where you can get creative and hopefully build something better than this simple model here. But just to illustrate how this would work. So, as you can see, it's easy to get started. You download the data, then you can start modeling. Maybe you want to analyze the data a bit first and see what's in there, but in general, that's how it works. Obviously, some interaction with the website requires authentication, which makes sense. I mean, you don't want me to upload this small little model to your account. So you need to go to the website, to your account. There's a settings area, and they can create those API keys, which consists of a public key and a token. Then there are two ways of giving those credentials to the API. The first one is you just put it in the Python code. But there's also the option, and I would actually recommend that one. You can do it via environment variables, which is a bit nicer because then you don't have the credentials in your code base, and maybe a bit more secure. Okay, once we have credentials, we can actually do some live predictions and upload predictions. So short code example, so we download the live data set, live features that we want to predict. We load them, we call our model that we created earlier with the predictions, and then save the results as a CSV. And then the part for uploading is actually quite easy. Just create another API object with your tokens, and you call upload predictions. There's one way you can actually skip the creation of the CSV. You could just pass a data frame directly to upload predictions. That also works. Then it's a bit easier. Yeah, and that's kind of the basic workflow, the basic thing you need to know to get going. There are a few more extra things you can do. One is Numerai has this Diagnostics tool, which is essentially backtesting your predictions. So you predict on some validation data, and you can upload that and get some statistics and some plots on how you're doing. And you can automate that part as well. You basically call upload diagnostics, and it works the same way.
I was just going to ask about it, because that sort of that was missing in your workflow before, because you have submitted a blind model.
Yeah. I assume that you tested that offline.
But I was wondering if there was something where you can do it locally, but this is, you submit it and then you have to go to the website and look at the model. There's no way to get the diagnostics downloaded to you. Or
you can download it, actually. There's another function, I didn't put it in here, but you can then download the statistics and
bring that
and have it locally.
That would be nice.
So you can fully automate that part as well. You can run a model, backtest it, upload the diagnostics, and then fetch the scores.
And diagnostics is all the validation data? So it's still that, or is it some?
Yeah, it's all of the validation data, and nowadays they also give you scores per error, so it's actually.
Okay, so you can make your own validation.
That's basically my next one. So you can fetch scores. I just gave a few examples. Here you can fetch how your model is doing over the various rounds, or actually it works for any kind of model, so you could also look how others are doing if you want to compare, or if you want to look at the example model and compare yours or not. You can fetch the leaderboard, and as I just mentioned, you can also fetch the scores of your backtesting. One thing I do quite often is I wrap this call to these score fetching in a pandas data frame, and that just works. And then you have a pandas data frame, and then you can do whatever you want with that, filter it, do more computations, or whatnot. It's a bit easier to work with than the dictionary. Then, of course, there's Numerai signals. Who's participating in the signals? Like 1/3 of those that are participating in the name. Yes, actually. Okay, it's hard. So for those that don't know, it's a second competition that Numerai is running. It kind of works in a similar way, but they don't give you data. So it's bring your own data. So that's the tricky part, to get reliable and good stock prices, historical stock prices. And the library doesn't help you with that at all. So that's up to you. But you can use NumerAPI to upload predictions as well. And it essentially works the same way. There's just one small difference. Instead of calling NumerAPI, you call Signals API, and then that's it. So it works the same way. You can upload predictions. You can download some data, like the universe of stocks that you need to predict, and so on. And you can also fetch scores the same way. In a code base, there's actually lots of shared code, so it's the same thing. There are a few differences, like there are different metrics and so on, so it's not fully the same. That's a shared code. What you can also do is some basic stake management, and I guess your talk is going to be about that much more, but the competition has this concept of skin in the game, so you need to put in some of your own money to earn some money. And what you can do with the library, you can set your stake, you can increase it, decrease it, or fully train your stake if you want to. It's not that flexible, but that's more because of the competition. Like it takes 4 weeks to actually get your money out. So you cannot really move stakes between accounts, but still it might be useful if you want to do something with your stakes. Also having in mind that you can have up to 75 models now, and let's say you want to remove your stakes from all of them, it might be useful to do that programmatically instead of going to the website. You can also use the library for some automation. I mean, as you know, the competition is now daily, and especially with the daily, you just have 1 hour, so definitely it doesn't work sitting in front of your computer every time a competition starts, especially since the start time varies, it's not always at the same time. So one way to do it, in case you have a machine that is running 24/7, you can use the library and just call this check round open. That checks if there's currently a round running, and if that's the case, you run your model, and if not, well, you just wait for some time and see if it's running again.
That's my solution right now.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I know many people are using that.
I would like to do something else.
Yeah, as I said there.
Not anymore.
Not anymore? Okay.
Yes.
I'm also not
I'm
using
on
it.
that.
I don't recommend it, but I know that many people are doing that, so it's fine. It works, kind of. The recommended way is to use webhooks. So Numerai is providing webhooks that will call your machine, basically, and do something, or you can use Numerai Compute and then handle that for you. What you can also do, I mean, basically every information and all things you can do on the website is done via GraphQL. So all the information that is on their website, you can get it programmatically if you want to. I believe most of that is covered with NumerAPI. Probably, definitely not all of that. So what you could do is you can write your own GraphQL queries. So you go to this page, and then what you can do there is basically you can explore their documentation. You see exactly what is available and what you can do, and you can even write your own queries there and get a result, and it works in live, so it's quite nice. And basically that's how when I change something on the library, what I use as well. And you can play around, and once you've finished, so you have what you want. I mean, one thing you could do, you can open a pull request and ask if you want to add that to the library. But you could also just run what I call a raw query. So if you do that in Python, you have your query that you just wrote. You say raw query, you put in your query string, and you get it back. So that way, yes, you need to learn something about GraphQL, but at least you don't need to care about all that authorization stuff and web services and so on. Also, not so well-known thing, there's actually a command line interface for NumerAPI that has kind of the same functionality, so it's the same code base. So that might be interesting for those that are not using Python, like you. So you can call it from the command line, and you can do the same things. You can download the data, you can upload predictions, you can get your scores, and so on and so forth. And I know that some people are using it, not that many. So, and I'm not using it myself. So, if you find any bugs, let me know. It's not that well tested, but it works. At least the basic things. And if you want to use it, there's this help command. Then you get all the commands, and if you do a NumerAPI some command and help again, then it will show you what are the parameters that you need to pass and how it works. So it should be self-explaining. And well, that was basically my quick walkthrough. As I said, contributions are always welcome. It's a community project, so if you find any issues, notice something that is missing, you can go there and open an issue, or even create a PR. I noticed yesterday there's one I should be reviewing. It sometimes takes a few days until that time, because it's just a side project. But yeah, I'm always happy if I get some PRs and people contribute. And with that, I'm done. As I said, you can reach me on those various channels, reach me on Discord, on GitHub, and even add me on LinkedIn if you want to.
Wolfgang, what about the new functionality for the model upload? Will it be as well the part of the NumerAPI?
What do you mean new model?
Well, so I would be calling from the Python code, the pickled file, and upload it to
the model upload stuff?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, that's not developed by me, that's developed by Numerai, the company itself. I know that they wanted to have some of that stuff in my library. I didn't want that, because that means I need to maintain it. And as I said in the beginning, I want to keep it simple and robust. So would prefer if that is a dedicated library that is doing that instead, just to keep it simple. Because my expectation is that most people are not using it, so
we're doing
as a separate
functionality.
Where?
Yeah. What?
You can make it full request.
I think
But it will be ending on.
I think they will probably create some Python package. That's my assumption.
Okay.
That you can install and then use. I was talking with them, but I don't think it's separate. But yeah, my idea is the library should do one thing and do that well and robust and
So on the Discord, the suggestions,
yes, you can ask there or fork and create a PR if you want. And yeah.
Okay.
In terms of new functionality, there's nothing big planned actually. I mean, they're adding some new scores and some new metrics, so of course I want to add those. But besides that, nothing big planned. Unless you have suggestions. Anyway, thanks.
Two questions. So, then I was just going through your workflow and thinking, okay, where are there gaps for other projects within Numerai? And one seems to be like some kind of local diagnostics, so you can run it quick, you build your model, you do local diagnostics, and then you can change something, you can then make it automatic loop, rather than have to upload to Numerai and get back. But I'm not sure if there is any local diagnostics happening.
You can do it yourself.
Yeah, of course, but I'm just wondering if there was somebody who made a library.
There used to be one. It's actually under the Council of Elders GitHub, created by Suraj, but it's unmaintained. So what he tried to do was to have a package that computes all the scores, like just like one implementation of all the different scores in Python that you can reuse, and that not everybody needs to redo the same thing.
Yeah.
But we are looking for maintainers, so if anyone wants to take that over, I believe that would be super useful.
On the GitHub, on the example, Numerai example, you have the utils code, which you can basically, and it contains some of the diagnostic functions, but actually I'm not quite sure if it is updated enough. There should be a lot of it, but they are not working much with the example.
That's the nice thing about NumerAPI, it's just sort of, okay, you know this works. And I was wondering if there was something else like for diagnostic.
I don't think that file is updated because a couple months ago, I think I was running a model and one of the functions that used to be in there, it like changed, but it wasn't updated in the utils file.
Yeah.
So it's throwing errors, and then when I looked into the file, I saw it wasn't in there.
Yeah.
So there's an option for a project there for somebody.
Yeah, sounds like a good community project. Like have a Python package that you can easily install that has all the different scores and diagnostics and so on. And somebody needs to maintain it to keep it working and update.
Yeah, we pay pretty good. If you just tell us what you want to do and how many hours it's going to take, we'll pay you in NMR. So if anybody's looking for little side projects, definitely lots of opportunities there.
Which Python version is required? Python version.
Python version.
There is any requirement.
Yeah, 3 dot something. So it used to work with 2 dot something. I removed that. So I don't know, 3.8, something like that.
So there are no specifics of particular version?
No. There was a PR recently that wanted to add some functionality that is only available in the latest Python version, and I didn't want to merge it. I don't want to expect everybody to switch to the latest version. So, keep it simple.
That is exactly my idea. If somebody is going to join, the first question is which availability the project is to be. If it is push, hardly the front or more in general.
Yeah, so what I try to do, that every Python version that is still officially supported by the Python Foundation, that should be working. Everything that's outdated, then you might need to